Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates.
Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Volkswagen Taigun. It says hustle mode on. But before we start, I want to tell you about this awesome car perfume I'm using from Involve Your Senses, the Involve 1 Musk. This is one of my personal favorite car fragrances. It smells really awesome. The fragrance flow is fantastic. And the best thing is you can actually regulate between minimum and maximum using this switch. It's that easy, and guess what, it does not leak. It offers great performance in all weather conditions, and if you want one, you can get it with a 10% discount using my coupon code FASBEAM by going to www.involveyoursenses.com right away. Yeah, this is an excellent smelling car fragrance. I really love it. Now coming to the car, the Taigun, straight away I'm going to be opening the engine bay of this vehicle, which means there's a lever somewhere here which I'm kind of struggling with because it's a little different from what I have seen in other Volkswagen cars. So here, let me actually get to it. Yeah, there it opens. This is the engine bay. This is the 1.5 liter Evo motor. There's no insulation there. Yeah, they have cut costs in terms of insulation for this vehicle. Now this is the GT Plus trim. What is different on the GT Plus? First and foremost, there's this chrome on the top which is not there on the regular GT trim, and it also gets all LED lights, which is not the case with the Kushaq. You see, all LEDs, everything is LED here. LED DRL, LED indicator, LED light projector setup, sort of a dummy unit. This doesn't work. However, the fog lamps do not get LEDs at all, and lot of chrome on the car. Volkswagen has put so much chrome on the car, but it's unmistakably a Volkswagen car. Now the disappointing news is it's not traditional in the Volkswagen sense, because when you keep the button pressed, the windows do not roll out, which is the case with most of the Volkswagen cars, including of course the Polo as well, which is obviously cheaper than this car. In fact, half the price of this car, the Polo, of course. Now you get the bold VW logo up front, you get a sort of a skid plate ahead, and of course it doesn't get front parking sensors, a front camera or 360-degree camera or drive modes, or the seat getting the electric adjust for the driver, or a heads-up display. So a lot of features are missing when compared to its Korean rivals. However, Volkswagen believes in German engineering, which should be able to justify its price. Now because this is the GT trim, it gets this sort of a black treatment on the alloy wheels. Obviously it gets bigger 17-inch rubber. 205/50 by 17 is the size of the tire. Lower trims get 16 inches. However, the top trim, the non-GT one, also gets similar wheels, but this black treatment is actually missing. Now because it's GT, it has this GT badging. You get indicator on the side rear view mirrors as well. And rear view mirrors are always on the side Faisal. In terms of the size or the length, it's not that long as such amongst other rivals in the segment, so it's on the smaller side. However, the wheelbase is long enough to give you good amount of space. You see side body cladding which is running throughout the vehicle. Door handles get the chrome treatment. The request sensor is actually on both the sides, and these roof rails are actually functional, can hold up to 50 kgs. Okay, because this is a GT, it gets this contrast color, black colored roof, a sunroof as well, which is not there on the lower GT trim. So yeah, Volkswagen are offering two GT trims. The higher one is of course this one. I'm going to review the manual in the lower trim, the lower GT trim, which misses out on a lot of features, like gets halogen headlights, which also the Kushaq gets, because the Kushaq is not yet available with the Monte Carlo trim. I love the rear tail lights. Okay, tail lights are always at the rear. However, this infinity brake light or tail light is amazing. It kind of reminds you of the Audi Q8. Very nicely done. Again, all LED units. Yeah, that's right, all LED units. You can see the indicator functional. That's not the case with the Kushaq. Again, the Kushaq doesn't get all LED units just yet. GT badging, you get this sort of a chrome treatment and a skid plate as well. Now, where are the exhausts? This is not the real exhaust as such. The real exhaust actually happens to be below here. So that is the exhaust of the car, and it gets twin ports as well. That is the fuel tank kind of exposed. Meanwhile, you get rear parking sensors. You get a reverse parking camera as well. The VW logo does not switch to open the boot of the car. Get a rear spoiler with a high mounted stop lamp. Lot of gloss black finishing on the car. You can see a lot of cuts and creases, but it is a VW in the traditional sense, in the way the overall body looks, which is actually nice. I like it. Says Taigun right there. Let's open the boot of the vehicle, and it's not really a very big boot. Okay, there is breakfast, there's a first aid kit, and there's a hook which says 5 kgs. There's where the light is placed. It says 3 kgs actually. Yeah, 3 kgs, not 5 kgs. Meanwhile, there's another hook, and you can actually store a bottle right there. Let's do one thing. Let's try and see what is the size of the wheel. Obviously, it's not an alloy. It's a smaller size tire. The tire size happens to be 205/55/16. Yeah, they've actually given it a smaller size spare wheel, which is expected because obviously you can't fit a full-sized one. Okay, let's see what is the space like. Now the thing is, the doors as well as the roof and the platform and the powertrains, everything is shared with the Skoda Kushaq. And this thing is sort of a glass treatment here. However, it's actually plastic on the lower trims, so a lot of difference in terms of what the variants offer. Now rear seat space is actually quite impressive. Door pockets are also large enough at the rear, but plenty of hard plastics inside this car. Now it gets this nice seat cover. It's not leather, it gets this red stitching as well. Scooped out seat back, there's a magazine holder. However, in the Kushaq, there's a phone holder as well here, which is not the case in this particular car in the VW format. However, two USB-C charging sockets, rear AC vents, and seat belts do not get the height adjust function. You get a center armrest, which gets twin cup holders, and you can recline the seat like this. It's a 60-40 split seat, which is good actually. Recline angle is also pretty nice. There's good amount of legroom and kneeroom on offer. Yeah, there's really good amount of legroom and kneeroom on offer, and I'm surprised that under thigh support is also impressive. Headroom is decent at best. Yeah, for someone as tall as me, it's actually decent. There's a hook and a handle. Again, same is the case there as well, and there's light placement on the top, of course. This is a little flimsy and more so at the front, but seats are really very comfortable. So rear seat space is actually quite impressive. I like it. It's finally a VW affordable one, which is actually having good amount of space at the rear. Okay, you see the dashboard design, again quite impressive, because obviously aesthetic wise it looks very much like what's with other VW cars, like of course the Tiguan. However, the center console is almost identical to the Kushaq, other than the fact that that screen is integrated well and not a free floating one, and the side AC vents are different in this VW car. However, lot of parts, lot of design, lot of switchgear shared with the Kushaq. Of course, seats are really very comfortable. I like it for sure. Meanwhile, this is almost flat. 3 people can sit in, but the cabin is not wide enough, so it's going to be a little bit of a tight fit. Now, if you opt for the red color, now things would be red on the dashboard side of things. So yeah, they've kind of made it sporty, which we'll see in the other variant which we review. Okay, it says Volkswagen here, so attention to detail is very nice. You get this chrome line on the bottom. Again, you guys need to tell me, how do you like the design of this car? I think they have done a great job from going from concept to production, staying true to the overall design of this VW vehicle. Okay, let's get inside. I like the fact that request sensors are there on both the sides, unlike in the case of Hyundai cars where the request sensor is only on one side. Now you see the front seats are also very comfortable. Door pockets are massive at the front. Power windows do not get the one touch up and down. Again, something un-VW like. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. This is obviously to lock or unlock the vehicle, and plenty of hard plastics. It says Taigun right there, and you see there's a proper dead pedal. I like how they have finished it in sort of a chrome, and here is obviously the headlight adjustment. It gets automatic headlights. Now this is how you turn on the lights. This is auto, full beam, and then you can actually pull it out to turn on the front fogs. You see, that is the ambient lighting. It only gets one color for the ambient lighting, which is red for the GT trim. Meanwhile, the top variant of the non-GT gets blue, and it obviously gets a virtual cockpit in the non-GT variant as well for the top trim. However, the instrument cluster gets blue finish. This one gets red. So red everywhere in terms of ambient lighting as well, and there you get blue even in terms of ambient lighting. Now let's get inside, and let me tell you that the doors actually shut with the properish thud. You're going to turn off the indicator, making a lot of sound. The dashboard design, really very impressive. Thankfully, this is very well integrated right inside. Now, a lot of elements are very similar to the Kushaq, including the fact that this AC control, which is sort of a touch unit, is also very similar indeed. It gets a climate control air conditioning system. Yeah, climate control, I've turned it off. There is the hazard light button here. This was stop start system. However, the GT does not get ventilated front seats, which is the case with the non-GT top end model, which has 2 settings for the ventilation function. These are similar to the Kushaq. That is different to the Kushaq side AC vents. The glove box is actually decent size, actually big enough, and it gets the cooling function as well, but massively crazy hard plastics everywhere. That's where they have actually cut costs. Auto dimming inside rear view mirror. Here obviously you get lights on the top. This is sort of a dummy unit, and there you get a mirror. Here you just get a hook as such, and you see this is kind of flimsy. The roof is kind of flimsy. There is a handle to hold onto. Let's do one thing. Let's open the sunroof of the car. Now it doesn't get a panoramic sunroof, which is the case with the Hyundai Creta, and that's the maximum it actually opens. Let's shut this. Meanwhile, I love the quality of the seats. Good bolstering. You can actually push this forward all the way if you so wish. And here below you got storage space as well. Now the good thing is there's a wireless charging pad right here, two USB-C charging sockets as well. You got this sort of a piano black finishing. You got twin cup holders here where my car perfume absolutely slots perfectly well. Yeah, you can actually place it on the dashboard with the 3M tape, but this is really convenient. Oh my god, the car smells really very nice with this. Of course, in spite of having the new car smell, this actually accentuates the feel good factor inside the car. You get a manual handbrake, no electric parking brake either. This is a place where you can actually keep the key of the vehicle. They have a proper slot. Again, very much like the Kushaq. So not really much differentiated as such, but then it's actually a good thing. That's the room key. By mistake, I removed that. Now here, key slots in perfectly. So they have a proper place for the key as well. Twin cup holders, like I was telling you, the shape of the second one is a little bit different. There it slots in perfectly. I like that. Now, this gets sort of a piano black finishing around. It's a 10-inch unit. It's fantastic as such. Get into reverse. That is the reverse parking camera. It gets guidelines. They're not adaptive. They could have used the full screen actually to show us the rear view mirror with the camera, and it's very slick to use. It gets Apple CarPlay, it gets Android Auto connectivity, which are wireless. It gets VW Play apps. There's the Ghana app as well. It gets connected car tech. Unfortunately though, connected car does not have remote function of turning on the car, which is there with other connected cars. Okay, showing this Ashleel photo right now, but let's listen to an audio right away. Okay, audio quality is actually quite good. However, it doesn't get a branded audio system like in the case of the Korean rivals where they use Bose. So yeah, that's fine. However, it's a very slick system, and then obviously you get a lot of information here as well. Meanwhile, this is actually for the traction control button. I love the fact that the button is right there. Unfortunately, there are no physical buttons for this infotainment system, although you have buttons here on the steering wheel. This is actually for the cruise control system. This is to browse through the multi-information display. This is to go ahead or behind on the track, the new VW logo. These are the controls for the wipers. The wipers work really well. Plenty of spray on offer. Yeah, obviously, really high quality wipers. That's what you expect from a VW, right? And these are the controls for the indicators. Now, the steering wheel is adjustable only for height. No, it's adjustable both for reach as well as rake. That's very nice. I really like that. And overall plastic quality could have been a lot better. This is the engine start stop button. There's a 12-volt charging socket right there. And you know what? I honestly feel this could have been finished better. A lot of exposed bits. Looks like a storage space, but it's not. Headlight leveler. Meanwhile, the steering actually feels nice to hold. Gets this sort of a flat bottom treatment. Horn is okay, not that impressive. Now this gets the 8-inch virtual cockpit thingy. This is actually a dummy unit on either side. That looks out of place for sure. This is the temperature meter. That is the fuel meter, and you got a lot of information. Now you can obviously browse through this. They have multiple displays on offer. I'm just going to show you around. This doesn't show you the tachometer. This shows you the tachometer. The speedometer becomes digital as such. Now everything is obviously digital. Meanwhile, here you have so much information and you can browse through like this, and you can decide what you want to see. Yeah, can you see so much information? You like get everything you want. Here I'm going to get on the left side, and you can obviously decide what you want to see, and you can also decide what you want should be seen. Someone had actually turned off the average economy bit because they thought, you know what, Faisal is going to drive and he's going to drink all the fuel as such. Okay, I love this virtual cockpit. It looks really very cool indeed, and overall fit finish is nice. However, expected better from VW. You know what, it doesn't have that feel good factor of a German car because they have not damned things like they usually do with their cars. Now obviously that is in the interest of cost cutting. It gets side airbags as well. Naturally it needs to, because at this price point cars are coming with a lot more features. Somehow this VW is lacking in that regard, although when compared to the other VW models, this has a lot more features for sure. Let's quickly see how the rear wiper works. So check that out. Can you see it? Actually, we'll just turn around and I'll show it to you. That is the rear wiper functional. Yeah, that also does a decent job as such. So overall cabin is very well packaged, good amount of storage spaces of course, and yeah, aesthetics are on spot, although quality could have been much better. Like hard plastics on the top also. Who does hard plastics on the top? Everybody does it on the bottom. I agree, I understand, but on the top, well, crazy. Anyways, that doesn't matter. Let's start driving right away. Now let's have a quick look at the accessories on the Volkswagen Taigun. Okay, car is unlocked right now. Nothing at the front as such because they want to maintain the striking face of the car, so it can be easily identified. You get roof rails which are standard, but you know, they are mounts along with this Volkswagen GTI cycle, which I believe is going to cost a lot of money, but looks absolutely right. Now this can handle up to 50 kgs of weight, and doesn't it look mind-blowing, this cycle? Honestly, I want to take the cycle alone, leave the Taigun alone. Any which ways, coming to the boot, again, little difference here. First and foremost, you get a sun blind right there, you get 3 suitcases, and you also get mats. Alright, and when you come to the side, there is a lot more chrome. Actually, there's chrome here on the side body cladding, and it gets 3D mats, which is the only thing you can recognize at the front, which is different from the regular model, actually, in terms of accessories. At the rear though, you again get sun blinds, and you get this table. Okay, this is for your coat, and you press this button, and there this opens. So, you know, you can actually keep your drink, your laptop, and work from here. Like I said, you also get a sun blind right there. Okay, I'm going to come to the other side, and here you actually get a GoPro holder. I don't know what is the function of this. Maybe to watch your kids, but doesn't make any sense. You can do it from the inside rear view mirror of this car, and I think it's time we start driving. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning of the car, getting into drive, handbrake down, getting into sport as well, traction control off, changing the view of the instrument cluster because this is just a speedometer, no tachometer seen, hazard light off, left foot on the brake, and off we go. I mean, I just did a quick get go. Oh my god, this sounds really loud in the top end. It's not because the engine is loud or sporty, it's because insulation is not that great in this car. So they have cut cost in that regard, but still the motor is fantastic in the way it sounds. I love this engine for sure. It is one of the best engines in the segment without a doubt. Alright, I've got paddle shifters as well. Around the corner, there is body roll of course, but it's super well contained somehow. And the suspension is well tuned for Indian roads. In fact, the ride and handling balance of this car is absolutely phenomenal. Unbelievable ride and handling balance, something which you expect only from VW, because this is the MQB A0iN platform, which is basically an India specific platform. It's the global MQB platform, which is a modular platform which has been localized for India, because in India obviously you're not doing high speed, so that changes happened here. Come on, give me a downshift, making a quick overtake, no problem at all, because there's so much grunt, and the steering wheel is very responsive as well. It's actually light, but still somehow manages to offer good amount of weight and high speed stability as well. The brakes offer good stopping power too, in spite of the fact that you get rear drums. However, because it gets red colored brake calipers up front, it improves the braking performance. Just kidding, that red colored brake calipers are not that coolly done, because the wheels are such you can't really see them, and that's the reason why I'm telling it to you right now. I also forgot, I could not see them myself. Finishing could have been better for sure. Now there's so much grunt on offer, and of course the steering is such a delight somehow. And you see, the ride is absolutely fantastic. You can actually take it over bad roads without any hesitation, and ground clearance is also ample. I like the way this car has grunt throughout the rev range. This 1.5 litre TSI Evo motor is fantabulous. It's so good, it's so good. The more I praise it, the less it is, because there's no flat spot in the power delivery. There's good amount of low end grunt, there is no turbo lag to speak of, and there is good drivability, there's a good mid-range, there's a good top end as well. It's linear throughout, there's no kick in the pants feel, but it just has oodles of grunt throughout. It is just so freaking punchy, which is fantabulous, and mated to the 7-speed DSG gearbox, it is in another league altogether, because this DSG box is super quick with shifts. It's a bit hesitant to give you a downshift and sometimes can fumble, but for the most part there's nothing to complain about, because this DSG box is so freaking fast. It's a 7-speed unit, it's the DQ200, and there are actually 3 modes for the gearbox. There's a regular drive mode, there's a sport mode, and there's a manual mode. When you touch any of the paddles, you get into manual mode. And in manual mode, yeah, it doesn't hold on to a gear. Red line comes in slightly above 6,000 RPM, so not really high revving as such, but it sounds very sporty in the top end, because insulation is also poor. You can hear a lot more, but you can hear a lot more of the wind as well as the tire noise inside this car. And I love the way this car rides. It's so beautiful, it's so composed. Only thing is, over really bad potholes or really bad roads, I mean, there is some judder inside the cabin. It takes it in its stride, but you cannot escape from the fact that the chassis is on the stiffer side, and that stiff chassis can be a bit of a hindrance in terms of really bad potholes, but that's not a problem, because high speed stability is fantabulous. Now this engine produces 150 PS of power between 5,000 to 6,000 RPM, and the torque output is equally impressive at 250 Newton meters, resulting, I mean, that torque output comes between 1,600 to 3,500 RPM, resulting in absolutely stellar performance. 0 to 100 km per hour comes in 9.1 seconds, top speed 190 km per hour. I wonder why it's so less, because I had driven the T-Roc in Germany on the Autobahn with hitting a top speed of 216 kilometers per hour with the 6-speed manual. Now, it also comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox, 7-speed DSG, the 1.5 litre TSI Evo motor, which is obviously turbocharged and also gets direct injection. Meanwhile, the 1 litre engine, which is going to be more popular for obvious reasons because it's going to be cheaper, as it's also locally made in India, like a lot of localization. In fact, VW is aiming for 90% localization with this particular car, and that's the reason, one of the reasons for the aggressive pricing as well, which we'll come to in a bit. So like I was telling you, I love the sound of this car. So yeah, I was telling you about the 1 litre engine, which actually produces around 115 PS of power and 178 Newton meters of torque. It's obviously slower by almost 2 seconds when compared to this engine, but it's going to be more attractively priced, it's going to be more fuel efficient. In spite of being a 3-cylinder unit, it's actually quite refined as well. Now, this should return somewhere between 10 to 15 kilometers per litre depending on your driving style, and it also gets cylinder deactivation technology, wherein on light throttle inputs, or rather no throttle inputs, it cuts 2 of the cylinders. Yeah, it cuts 2 of the cylinders to improve the fuel efficiency of the car. So this is a 4-cylinder unit. The 1 litre is a 3-cylinder unit, and the 1 litre is, like I was telling you, is very refined and smooth. It comes with a 6-speed manual as well. However, it gets a 6-speed torque converter gearbox, which is good for the city, but not really out on the highway because it's kind of slow by almost a couple of seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So lags in that regard. Making a quick overtake, no problem, because there is grand oodles of it, and this car really punches. Oh my god, I can hear a bit of the suspension. Like I'm telling you, insulation could have been a lot better inside this car. So that's somewhere, that's a place where VW could have worked. But you know, when compared to its Korean rivals, it's still pretty awesome and impressive. If a little bit of insulation and a slight bit of build quality is what I have to let go for dramatically better performance, handling, driving feel, I'm ready to do that when compared to the Koreans, of course. Now, at light speeds, the steering is easy to do. A lot of safety systems inside this car, like VW has gone and thrown in a lot. Like, of course, okay, we're going to take a turn here. Let me take a right turn right now, and I'll just show you how easy it is. Look at this, okay? Steering is so light and easy to twirl. Get onto the gas, little bit of hesitation from the DSG box, but then once it gets going, it's awesome. In fact, it can be slightly quicker because the launch is not that aggressive. In spite of traction control being turned off, it doesn't spin its wheels at all. That's the level of traction. Obviously, electronic stability control standard throughout the range. Of course, you get it on all the variants, and that's not all. You also get electronic differential lock and a host of other safety tech as well. Brakes, I like it. Very nice performance. Alright, I'm going to change the view again. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. It doesn't spin its wheels, which you would expect with traction control off, but I don't like this view. Again, tachometer is gone for a toss. You see, over bad bumps now, the car actually crashes through it, unfortunately. But the throttle response is absolutely insane. It is so freaking quick with the throttle inputs. I mean, get on the gas at any moment and then the turbo really sings its song. Obviously, it's a turbocharged unit. It gets direct injection as well. And then braking performance, I don't know why it keeps making this sound randomly. Braking performance is really very good. And you know what? It's got brake disc wiping, multi-collision braking. What is brake disc wiping? Basically, it wipes the brakes, dries it when it's raining, so that braking performance is not hindered at all. So that again is a super duper awesome thing. I love the composure. I love the fact that the handling is so good in this car. So much fun, so engaging to drive. Really very impressive. I like it. I love the way this engine performs. It's such a fantabulous engine. I'm going to take a turn, a quick U-turn as such, and turning radius is also quite less. So because the light steering, you can just twirl it and make a U-turn with no effort whatsoever. And that is another boom of this car, which actually feels quite light to drive as such. You can't hear a thing at idle. That is how refined the motor is. And off we go. The DSG box definitely bogs down things. Now it gets a tire pressure monitoring system as well, and it uses high strength steel. So high speed stability is also fantabulous. This is a car which will definitely appeal to the enthusiasts because of the fabulous engaging nature of this vehicle, and it just feels so good to drive, which is amazing. And then obviously the build quality, the safety, and all these parameters really make the Taigun an amazing bet. However, compared to the Korean rivals, it definitely misses out on a diesel engine, which is a bit of a hiccup because diesel still accounts for a majority of sales, at least for the Creta 53% is what Hyundai claims. Now coming to the pricing of this car, they have not revealed it yet, but I believe the pricing is going to be somewhere between 12.5 lakh rupees to 21.5 lakh rupees, which is very similar or slightly at a premium to the Skoda Kushaq. And at that price, you know what, for the level of equipment and the German engineering and the safety, it definitely feels worth it. Of course, service cost and maintenance and all those things have to be looked at as well. I believe VW is also working in that regard. Obviously, it's not going to be as smooth or easy on the pocket when compared to the Korean rivals, but the level of engineering, quality, safety and fun to drive nature you get with this car, the slight premium you pay for safety, the slight premium you pay for the maintenance of this car is completely worth it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I feel this car is stupendous, absolutely stupendous. This engine is so good, so good, so good. I want to take it home. Okay, I want to take this engine home. That is how good it is. But let's see how VW prices it, and let's see how well it sells in the Indian market, because as far as I see it, VW has hit the ball out of the park with this car. Great in almost every regard. Only thing is it needs a diesel engine and probably more features, which might come with the facelift. So guys, this is my vlog of, okay, it says 2-cylinder mode, but it says average 5 kilometers per liter. You know why? Because obviously we are very hard onto the throttle since morning, and then I was also sitting in the car and idling it. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. This car makes some weird sound for no reason. I'll try to figure that out. Bye bye, take care. Now we are driving the manual, revving the motor, and off we go. Now, of course, I'll do a dedicated video on the manual, but remember one thing: if you want to get this awesome perfume for your car, make sure to click the link in the description and get it right away. I've also put the link in the pinned comment. Bye bye.